Now to India, and its capital city, Delhi, has been facing its worst heat wave in decades. As climate change takes its toll, temperatures in parts of northern India hit a blistering 48 degrees Celsius last week. The intense heat is resulting in health issues and fatalities, and it's even more difficult for people who are living on the streets.
Delhi has been like a furnace for 2 months. The government has told people to stay indoors if they can. But Mohammad Iftikhar has no other choice than to be out on the streets. He has been staying on the pavement with his wife and children. He is one of thousands who travel to Delhi from all over the country every year to get affordable medical treatment at AIIMS, the topmost government hospital of India. Many end up living on the street outside because they are unable to afford any other accommodation.
I've never seen the kind of heat I'm seeing now. It's the reason I don't go out looking for work very often. I just focus on getting the treatment and taking care of my children.
Iftikhar and his wife are here because their children need treatment for skin disorders. But staying in the heat has made matters worse. His little sons have developed boils on their skin due to the heat. They are now getting treated for these too. This is shaping up to be the longest and the worst heat wave Delhi has seen in the last 74 years. Experts are attributing this to a delayed monsoon and the El Nino phenomenon. Apart from giving regular health advisories to people, the government this year also directed hospitals to provide special care for heat stroke patients. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, another government hospital in Delhi, has created a heat stroke emergency room. Dr. Himanshu Sikri tells us that on days of peak heat, they get several patients with heat stroke. They are mostly people required to work outdoors like construction laborers or security guards.
The most common symptom is the patient is semi-conscious, having a lot of body temperature, like the body temperature can be as high as 106 to 107 degrees Fahrenheit.
The ward is equipped with immersion cooling technology, a rapid ice generating machine, and large ceramic tubs in which heat stroke patients are dunked in ice-cold water to bring down their body temperature. Dr. Sikri says in a heat stroke situation, which also risks organ failure, rapid cooling of the body is the only way to save life.
This kind of a situation has happened for the first time here, and that too in a very exponential manner. Such patients are coming to us in large numbers. We have never seen such a number in the preceding years.
Iftikhar brings his sons out as he sees the slight change in weather. Light rains in the city have brought temporary relief, but also intense humidity.
If it gets too hot for us, we either go and take shelter in the subway train station over there or go inside the hospital. We're trying to manage and protect our kids somehow.
Iftikhar says he prays to God every day for his children to get better so he can either move back to his village or start looking for work here actively to be able to afford a shelter to protect them from Delhi weather.
Let's get more on this now from environmentalist Chandra Bhushan. He joins us from Delhi. Thanks for being with us. Mr. Bhushan, can you explain to us why India has been experiencing such high temperatures?
Combination of factors. Global warming obviously is the primary reason. Last year was one of the hottest years on record. We are reaching about 1.5 degrees Celsius from pre-industrial level. That's the level of warming globally. Last year was actually second highest, warmest year on record in India as well. Then there was El Nino, and there is a residual impact of El Nino that we are feeling. And lastly, there are local factors. Urban heat island effect is there. So it's a combination of global warming, El Nino, and local factors, which has exacerbated heat in the city. And it was the longest, as your reporter said, 24 days of heat wave is possibly the longest on record since we started recording temperature in the country.
Now, we're seeing fatalities there in the Indian capital. What is the government in India doing to help people deal with these unbearably hot temperatures?
Frankly, I was expecting a lot more fatalities than what actually happened. And one of the reasons was that hospitals were able to put systems in place very quickly. And the other good thing that happened was that there was a mass awareness on heat wave. And people stopped working outside during peak, peak hours, which has also saved lives. So the certain good things that has happened is that people are aware. They were made aware about the problem. We were able to put together hospital infrastructure very quickly, which has saved lives. But still, we have lost a couple of hundred of people during this heat wave. It could have been worse.
And there could be more heat, I guess, still to come. Now, heat waves have been hitting many parts of Asia. Pakistan is currently experiencing also extreme heat. What can the affected countries in the region do at the policy level to address these recurring extreme weather events?
Frankly, heat wave is hitting across the world. I just saw a picture of wax statue of Abraham Lincoln melting in Washington because the temperature was 40 degrees Celsius. London is expected to get in 30s, which is very high for London, geographical position. So heat wave is going to hit everyone across the world. I don't think even colder countries are going to be saved. There will be period in year when Europe is going to get to 40 degrees. And Europe is not actually designed for that heat. Some way Indians are. Indian architecture is. Europe is not. So I don't think that the focus, we should be focusing on Asia, because we are looking at 50 degrees. Delhi had a record temperature of 49.9 degrees Celsius. But we should also be worried about heat wave in colder countries. The loss of lives there could be much higher because you're not acclimatized to that kind of temperature. So it's a global issue. We all need to worry about it. We all need to prepare about it because it's going to hit us. This year could be even more warmer than last year as far as global temperature is concerned. And next year could be even more warmer. So I think we now have to start thinking about not only saving lives, but also cooling our cities. We need to prepare a heat action plan for our cities and areas.
Chandra Bhushan, environmentalist in Delhi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I'm joined now by DW's correspondent, Adil Bhat in Delhi. Can we start by just describing the kind of heat that Indians have been going through for a long time now? But what has your experience been?
Claire, people in India have been experiencing blistering heat this time. This time the heat is quite intense. It is also really bad for the people this time. So Delhi feels like living in a pan of phrase, actually. So this time, when you go out, you feel it's not a heat wave, it's a full-blown attack on your body. You start sweating from head to toe. And whenever you go out, like you go to slums, people tell us that they can't sleep during the nights. So that's the situation that we have been witnessing in Delhi. So the temperature has crossed more than 50 degrees Celsius in some areas. There are parts in northern India where people can't go out for work. That's their livelihood. So for people in the northern parts of India, in Delhi, they can't do anything in this scorching heat.
Now, for those who are able to take precautions and measures, what are people doing to deal with such scorching temperatures?
We have to understand that this heat doesn't impact people equally. People from the economic weaker section, they are vulnerable to this kind of heat. If you go to slums, people who live in small congested areas where they start cooking, the heat goes up. So in these situations, people like construction laborers, vendors, they are the people who get impacted by this kind of heat. I've been speaking to the people. They're trying to do everything they can to work in this kind of a heat.
And what kind of government support has been available to people against these extreme temperatures?
Government is trying to do everything it can. So, like for homeless people, they have started a rescue drive where people who were sleeping on the streets, they try to rescue them and give them shelter spaces. Government is also trying to collaborate with the NGOs where they are visiting slum areas and painting the houses of the people. Government is also collaborating with the NGOs from states as well, where they're running awareness campaigns telling people how to cope in this heat.
Thank you so much for your reporting. That is DW's correspondent, Adil Bhat.